Hi. Welcome back to It's Loud in Here. It has been, I think, like a month now. I I try to come up. I don't try to come up with things. Like I try to talk about what's in my head. But I was at an AA meeting recently, and I was told, like I was said, like my podcast is political, and I was like, well, it's not a political podcast. It's just whatever is in my head. However, there's so much going on politically right now that a lot of what is in my head is politics because I don't know, when your administration is full of potatoes and they keep doing potato head things every single day, there's just a lot of potato head things boiling around in my brain. And um, I don't know, this isn't the potato famine. So I just have all these potatoes just running into each other in my brain. And I don't know, I guess I kind of tried to figure out a way to not make it political. But in the end, fuck it. Because if the things in my head that are loud are based on what is happening in the world, then I guess I'm just going to spew. So, hi, welcome back. I showered hair down. I went to my ex-father-in-law's funeral today, and it was sad. It was nice. He was old and he had a rough time recently, and people do die, but what was nice was that I got to be there for my ex-husband, and he's a kind man, and I got to show up and pay my respects to someone who had a part in my life, even if it wasn't for the forever I thought at the moment it might be, which I internally knew better. But it was just nice to be the kind of human that shows up to something like, "Ugh, she's here." So that is why I have my fancy hair on. Um, Life is the same as it always is. I've been working a lot and playing softball. I've been in a little bit of a break, like all the leagues ended kind of right around each other, and then this weekend I only have one of the leagues because of the holiday, because it's Labor Day weekend, so it's Saturday. I don't know if all weekend, like Monday's Labor Day, so I don't have two of the leagues, but my one league is starting up tomorrow, so they're all kind of coming back. So I will be playing in three leagues again, and dogs, and Freddie's eating himself. He does this thing. So like he's so hairy. I've shown you guys, and then sometimes he'll get little, like, I'm gonna call them mats, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes something itches, and then he'll bite and it'll itch. But because he's so hairy, he causes a mat, and then he'll bite to get the mat out, and then he'll chew his skin. That's a thing. And so he woke me up well, I was awake, but he got me out of bed because he cried, and I think he was pulling the mat. Anyways, dogs are dogging, and they're the best. And I've gone to, like, it's late. It's like 10 o'clock. I was not going to do this because it's late and I've got softball really early. And I was like, you haven't done it in a month. Just go talk. Just go get some stuff out. So, in any case, my life is the same. It's still dogs and work and softball and friends when I can and meetings when I can. And I'm celebrating 7 years in September. And one of my best friends is getting induced to have a baby on Tuesday. So, that's cool because that's not mine. Give back. And, I got to watch my nephew have a football scrimmage a couple weeks ago because varsity started, so I'll get to watch him play a bunch this fall. I've got a wedding next weekend for a friend of mine, which is cool because, again, I told you guys I might try to sober dance, and softball tournament in a couple weeks. And I just, like, life will get slow in the winter, and in the winter I will relax, and I am in a hoodie. Maryland's been wild. I don't know what happened, but like, weather's nice, man. If it could be this all year round, people would probably call us San Diego. It's been in the 70s. This morning I think it was like 49 degrees. Tomorrow morning when I play softball at 8 a.m., I'm gonna be cold. Um, my beagle just showed up. She's been playing real hard recently, and so she's got this limp thing, but it's her fault. She goes too hard and then she limps. And it's awful to watch. Yeah, so it's still busy, and I'm still tired because I am. The migraine medicine is still working, and on the 14th of September, I will have gone 3 months without soda because I haven't tried it since I figured out that it was the medication that made me stop tasting carbonation. And I'm not willing to figure out that I can drink it because I gave up soda. So that's a whole thing. So my life is good, and my dogs are healthy. My nephews are healthy. My parents are healthy. My friends are healthy. My life, I cannot complain. I mean, dogs are just the best. Like it's the best when they come because they're like, "Hi, I missed you," and they just show up. Um, my life is good, and I've got amazing people in it, and I'm going to see so many comedy shows. So many comedy shows. I just bought tickets. Yesterday I bought tickets. I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go see Big J. I'm gonna go see Big J Okerson in DC with Russ and my buddy Max and his girlfriend Holly, who I just met Holly, and she's awesome. Really have gotten close to Max, and he's the bee's knees, and Russ is my best friend. So Big J, he's dirty. I'm excited. And then the other day, I woke up and figured out that Andrew Santino was putting on a show in Maryland, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning when I woke up for absolutely no reason. So at 5 o'clock, I bought 2 tickets. Dopamine. Uh, yeah. So I mean, again, my life is good, but the world is annoying. And I was thinking today, um, because I was talking about it. I ended up posting something on Facebook. I mean, because I'm gonna post. I know that it probably doesn't do anything, me saying things, and I know that like this thing doesn't reach that many people. And I mean, I've got access to the amount of people I've got access to is shrinking on Facebook. They are leaving, but it's like almost 9,000 people or something. And so like I say how I feel, and I post things about my politics and the things I believe in because, and I try not to be ignorant about it because maybe I can show somebody else who doesn't really have an opinion like, hey, this is what's happening. Maybe just think about it this way, right? But today, man, someone tested me, and I've talked about it. I don't think on here, but like I am open to conversations, and I will admit when I am wrong. I hate it, but I will admit it. But if I dig in and I start arguing, you're wrong because I love being right. I've probably said that on here before when AA is like, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? I'm the happiest girl when I'm right. Thank you. So, well, if somebody tells me that I am wrong and I know that I am right, I will plant my heels, I will push back. So if I start doing that, please know that you are wrong because as you are telling me that I am wrong, I will be googling the proof to show you that you are an idiot. So this dude, man, he just came at me with the ignorant rhetoric of God, they have twisted things. So, remember when that flood happened in Texas? And super sad. I didn't mean to smile. I didn't. Remember when they had that flood in Texas? Like the Mentos commercial, like I need a sparkle. So in any case, dirty mouth. So that is Orbits. That is not Mentos. But in Texas, they had this big old flood, and they weren't prepared for it because one, natural disasters don't tend to have that much warning. Um, in theory, like they do have NOAA, which like 90%, like all these unions just got shut down by Trump. In any case, that's not really as big a deal to me as everything else going on. But so when the flooding happened and all the people were throwing out their thoughts and prayers, I said it. I was like, well, I'm reserving mine for school shootings. Like everybody else can use their thoughts and prayers for the flooding. I'm going to save mine for school shootings. Winter, winter chicken dinner took about a month. I'm pretty sure because I think the floods were right around the 4th of July, so almost 2, right? So the other day there was a shooting in Minneapolis. Super sad. Charlie, is she nesting in my made bed? Yes. At least she's in her spot, I guess. So there was a shooting in Minneapolis. 2 children were killed and 17 were shot, and it was at a school. It was at a Catholic school, and the shooter happened to be a white trans woman. I don't know when he started deciding that he was a woman, but Robert became a Robin, and when but those thoughts and prayers that I saved, well, here they fucking are. Do you want to know how effective my thoughts and prayers are? Yep, they're that effective. So when Trump started running, and I think this all goes back to 2020, if I'm honest about it. So I've said it on here before. We used to all coexist, and I'm not going to say things were perfect. Racism existed, homophobia existed, bigotry, and I can't remember all the words. It's late. I'm tired. ADHD. So just all the negative things do exist. 100%. They existed in the 90s and the 80s, definitely in the 80s. But like, because in the 80s we just used AIDS as a solution for black people and gays. So all of the negative things really did exist, but we also had a coexisting that really did exists. Nobody looked at trannies and was like, stone, shame. No one did that. And gay people were finally being accepted in the late 90s, and the early 2000s was a revolution. I know that I was talking to a client about it a while back, and I do think that 9/11 really was a catalyst for a lot of the negative things that have come since then. The Iraq War, just Bush's availability to so it all changed because the 90s ruled, man. They really did. But there was a coexisting. There just was. Nobody cared about drag queens. There wasn't this negative repertoire that followed them around saying like their actions were going to ruin children. And maybe there were in super conservative Christian households because um well, small minds are small minds and they always see things like that. But there wasn't a thing like trannies have mental health issues because that's not true. Transsexuals, it's not a mental health disease. It's not. So fast forward a whole bunch, right? And then we get into the election of 2016. And I've said this before that Donald Trump is an asshole and a rapist and a pedophile. But he is definitely an asshole, and that is not contentionable. So he brought with him a whole bunch of vitriol, right? He just basically let the world know that if you are a cocksucker, live that shit out loud. Like all you little racist dicks who hid in the back of your house and kept that shit to yourself and hid under your masks, wear your bigotry out loud. Wear your ignorance. Don't worry that your wife's got a black eye. It's gonna be okay. Wear your hatred on the outside. Wear that Confederate flag. Just wear your ignorance out loud. We are here for it, right? And that's what happened. And so, to overcorrect, we now have that woke left, which I do not like. I don't like the woke left any more than I like the alt-right. Just ugh. So the woke left comes in and they're the ones who said, hey, you said something wrong when you were 12 and now you're 40. And that thing you said when you were 12, canceled. That's not cool. And then the Me Too movement happened, which is great because women should have a voice about people that molested and raped and assaulted them. Except it's like people just decided that because there's a statute of limitations on charging them, there should be a statute of limitations on how long your rape actually bothers you, and that it wasn't okay to ruin lives over people raping. And I mean, God, man, you guys really like the narrative that women matter is just crazy. We are cattle. But so the overcorrection was the woke left, right? And then COVID happened, and COVID did some weird stuff because I mean, I know you all remember, but at the time when everybody was locked up, we had nothing better to do than play on the interwebs. And so everything that happened was huge news. And some of it was huge news because it should have been, like George Floyd getting murdered by the cops when he was begging to live. That's big news. And Breonna Taylor, that was big news. And the Black Lives Matter campaign, which was run by two money hungry, just Black lives do matter. And they haven't always. The same way women's lives matter and our bodies matter. But they don't because cattle, again. So all that stuff really came full fit, just full frontal because COVID. Everybody stuck at home. And so everything was bigger and angrier. Again, systemic racism is real. What happened to those people is a problem. And change is necessary. All those things are true. But I do think that there was not an overreaction, but just the reaction was bigger probably than it would have been if anybody had been able to do anything but sit at home and just, swipe. So during this time period, Leah Thomas shows up in women's swimming, right? And Leah Thomas is a man at the time, penis and everything, right? And was in the locker room with women and had been a mediocre male collegiate swimmer. I'm a woman, swims with the women, and wins. And look, man, I have said this before and I will say it again. The fact that I do not believe that trans women should play in competitive women's sports does not make me a bigot because I believe in all human rights. And I'm not the person saying they're a threat to women in the locker room because the only threat to women is men. It's men who rape us and beat us and assault us and murder us. It's men. Trans women don't become trans to rape women. That's as logical as the Haitians eating cats and dogs. Stop being sheep. All those Republicans, man, lions, not sheep. You're all sheep and you're all idiots and critical thinking. So Leah Thomas happens. And I think what really happened there is that because of that and the chick she beat, who is at this point literally just anti-trans, it's not, I don't even think it's about the sports anymore because that battle's pretty much been won in most states and on the collegiate level. And I'm not saying they shouldn't play in sports. Co-ed sports are fine. There should, in fact, be, at this point, in my opinion, they should be working towards creating a competitive trans league for both trans men and trans women to compete in. But competitive women's sports, man, those are just for girls. We fought a long time to be separate and equal. And sorry, man, those are just for us. Because again, women have been oppressed and raped and murdered and owned and enslaved and all the things which own and enslave. That's totally redundant, but whatever. I mean, we deserve to keep what we fought for because we really had to do that, and we're doing it again. And so I think that the narrative switched with Leah Thomas, and I think that there became a thing. There became an awareness, and then there became a vitriol. J.K. Rowling doesn't help because God, I love her books, but she sucks. Because again, some of her points I do in fact understand. I do in fact understand that when it comes to women's shelters, when they have been abused, I know that trans people are in fact abused and beaten. I know all of those things, but I also know that women do deserve a safe place. And um, when you are beaten and you know you're traumatized by men, anything that has a male connotation can trigger you into massive amounts of hysteria. We deserve a safe place. I do understand some of her points, but she also, at this point, she's just a fear mongering motherfucker and she hates trans people and she's awful. So between her and the sports, I think what I did is I created a negative rhetoric about trans people that didn't exist prior because nobody cared. Nobody cared about transsexuals. There's a little confusion because people tend to be confused about things they don't like. And I think one of the reasons that trans women bother people so much, especially men, is one, because if you find them attractive, you wonder if you're gay because you guys just love, at least my generation and above, like us old heads, not so much the younger ones that are more fluid. You just love to hang on to your masculinity. Love to, right? So there's that. But on top of that, like the Catholic Church won't bury someone who's committed suicide. It's like the ultimate sin because you're supposed to always fight to be alive. And I think men just cannot wrap their heads around the fact that you want to get rid of the dick. I just don't. I just don't get it. So I think that's part of the problem. But so we just created a thing that Donald Trump could then use when he ran last time and lost to Biden. Because he uses fear and anger because a lot of his base that vote for him, they're just angry. Like I said in here before, man, your life isn't what you thought it was going to be, and you want to blame someone. And he gave you the someone's to blame. He gave you trans people and he gave you immigrants. He gives you the poor. And so now, you know, he used that to come in and say they don't belong in the sports, which I do agree with. But then he also said they're assaulting our women and children in the bathrooms and locker rooms, and that's not real. That's not real. That was a lie. So he created this fear based on sports and locker rooms and bathrooms, right? So then we have this shooting in Minneapolis, which is awful. And do I think that the people who shoot up schools probably have mental health issues on top of the fact they're angry and they have influences from just all the things, right? Yes, 100 fucking percent. But they have now turned this into a rhetoric that is trans people are dangerous, trans people do school shootings, mental health. So, transgender, it is a mental health issue. And the mental health of the children is the problem. And now RFK is saying that antidepressant and anti anxiety meds, all mental health, they're all bad and they cause this to happen in children. You see that? I think a dog hair just floated past my face. For a second, I thought it was a fruit fly. Why would there be a fruit fly in my closet? I don't know, friend. I don't fucking know, but I think it was a hair. So he changed it and he's going after this. And so I ended up getting an argument with a dude on fucking Facebook today. So I don't generally do that. Here, see, I got back to the point. I ended up, because are you serious? There are children, and he was like, it's this, one of the guys was like, it's this lazy generation. It's that's why. First of all, school shootings have been happening, God, Kent State, right? So all this time, but since it's so many, it's so fucking many, and less than like 0.1% are trans. There was one trans man who did it in 2023, which blows my mind because everybody else with the school shootings, they were born with a penis because men love to kill people. Men love to kill people. And like 90% of the shooters aren't even just men, boys. They're white ones. Our skin tone coming in hot, man. We love to murder with a pew pew, pew 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 pew. And they can't just say we're going to do anything. And this is not about this is not about currently it's about this administration because they exist and they have the power. But none of them did anything. Bill Clinton, I guess, banned assault rifles, but then Trump overturned that. So I'm just saying they don't do anything. And like I was talking to a dude about it last night. He's one of the ones that loves to send me the videos thinking he's going to change my mind and sway me in any direction. He was like, so what do you think they should do? And I was like, anything. I am asking for anything. Anything. A 30-day wait period. That'd be cool. A mandatory mental health evaluation immediately. Like you have to have one before you can get the gun. And he was like, well, how often do you have them? And I was like, look, I don't know. But for starters, before you get the fucking gun. And then he was like, well, who pays for it? How do they do that? And I was like, well, their insurance could, I guess. And then it was, well, if they have to pay for the psychiatrist, then now you're cutting out the lower income family, like you're cutting out the poor. They can't get guns now. I literally said to him, there are people that are smarter than me who could come up with actual answers to this in more than the 5 seconds you're giving me, but something has to change. Because at this point, literally what you are telling me, and I just read something on Facebook and it was like Sandy Hook, when at elementary school, there's like kindergarten babies. That was the moment when this country said it's okay to murder children. And what I said to him is, we have straight up said, kill our kids. We don't care. I don't have any. I don't worry about my kids going to kindergarten because nothing has come out of me and been alive. Because according to them, I murder because I had abortions, right? So I'm the bad guy. But these are completely preventable deaths. On average in 2023, 7 kids died a day. 7 by guns. That is a preventable death. 7 preventable deaths every day. And I was talking to my buddy Max, and he was like, but I think that they should have looser gun because then more people have guns. That. And I said to him, I was like, do you want to know what Australia did? They had one. They had one mass shooting. You want to know what they did? They took the guns. They took them all. And I said, and you want to know how many shootings they've had since they took the guns? And he kept talking. I was like, Max, how many have they had? And he kept talking. I was like, Max, how many shootings have they had since they took the guns? He goes, and I was like, 0. They've had 0. They had a problem and they fucking solved it. Well, now they've got a machete problem and a woman murder problem because I'm going to say it again. Women don't matter. Women don't matter because we don't matter. And I love that. I love that because we don't. And I've been hit on more because I don't know. I'm cute. It's fine. I'm cute. And I'm a biscuit. It's fine. I get it. But there's the way men hit on, it's like there's a entitlement when they hit on you, which is my favorite part about it. It's like they're entitled to what they want when it comes to women. And I was talking to a dude and he got ghosted by someone, and I said to him, I was like, women ghost men because we have learned that saying no is not safe. And I'm not saying that you're not safe, but on the whole, we know that men are unsafe. And so ghosting is a safe thing. It's not me having to reject you and have you possibly do something or getting vitriol back. I disappear and it ends. And I don't have to be afraid of anything. And I was like, because we've learned that there's violence, there's rape, there's assault, there's murder at the end of the rainbow that's what we've learned. And it's not all men, but it's enough of you motherfuckers, right? And so he said to me, he's like, well, I'll care about women when they stop making me lonely. Lonely is greater than rape and murder. I gotta tell you. And I heard this brilliant thing. My new friend Alicia, who I very much like, but I definitely had caffeine today. And I told her how last time it was super jittery. Guess what? Did tight today too. So we were talking about it, and she said she heard this great thing where someone said, "It's not all guns." Right? Not all guns kill people, but enough of them kill people that we're careful with them. You're never reckless with a gun. Right? They teach you all these things. Point it at the floor, safety on, carry the magazine outside of the gun, make sure it's not loaded. I mean, there is all of this stuff that is taught about how to be safe around a gun, but not all guns kill people. but they can't admit their response is just always not all men. They admit more about guns than they do about humans because, again, the Second Amendment. God, man, with Donald Trump, it's crazy because it really does. As he goes about dismantling this Constitution more and more, you just watch it. You really only care about the pew pews. God, you only care about the pew pews. That's it. You just care about the pew pews. And now that he is using our National Guard in cities, they're still in LA and they're currently in DC, and he's talking about mobilizing them other places. Why wouldn't they eventually just say, give us your guns? Like the military's here. You don't need your guns anymore. We've got you. We will take care of you. We are of the people. That's just wild. But while they're of the people, man, RFK. So here, this guy, he's gonna get so many people dead. So I found the quote from Idiocracy that I love, right? Uh the solution came during the budget crisis of 2030. Nope, the solution came during the budget crisis of 2330. I did it. When the Brondo Corporation simply bought the FDA and the FCC, enabling them to say, do, and sell anything they wanted, which is how we ended up with Brondo. It's got what plants crave. Plants crave electrolytes, and they ended up salting the earth in Idiocracy, creating a massive hunger problem because there was no food growing in the fields, and they salted the earth. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing, Idiocracy. The movie where they used a startup company called Crocs as idiot shoes because the people were so dumb, right? So this week something brilliant happened. All the people at the Center for Disease Control who wouldn't just rubber stamp RFK's propaganda bullshit got fired from the fucking CDC, the Center for Disease Control. And while some of you, the 5 of you that listen to this, might be thinking, if you're not people that actually know me, and I know you have intelligence, if you like to sway in the other direction, well, some of you might be thinking, but it's vaccines, right? They're not that big a deal. You don't need a flu shot. You don't need a COVID vaccine. See, they monitor more things like Ebola, right? And SARS and chikungunya and other transmittable diseases. And there are lots. There are lots of diseases that we have kept out of the United States because vaccines, like measles, we had eradicated Texas. RSV does affect adults. I would love to know how many people I know have RSV and now they've got walking pneumonia because I do know people with coughs that won't quit. Hepatitis was a real problem for a while, but vaccines have made it so hepatitis doesn't have to kill you. I had a friend in college and her parents died from hepatitis. It killed him. It doesn't have to do that anymore. So God, they gutted all this money for research because he just decided that mRNA vaccines are bad, based on pseudoscience bullshit and the fact that he is pushing a narrative from wellness influencers who have products that he is pushing to make money. I hate him so much. I hate everything about him. Autism doesn't come from vaccines. You are idiots. Do you know? I hope any of you know this. This is the best thing is that the average lifespan used to be 35 years old, and it wasn't that long ago, like 150 years ago. I don't even know if it was that long ago. It might have been early 1900s. Average lifespan was 35 years old. 35. The average lifespan now is like 80. Mississippi, it might be 70 because, go to those solid red states and see how well the life is. MAGA states, they're poor. So, God, man, we lived to like 75 and 80. They've raised the average age of death. They've raised it by like 40 years with vaccines. 40 years. And I know that there is autism. And I know that a lot of people say they have it and they don't. I made quite a few jokes today at the funeral about my ex-husband being Aspergery. I am aware of what is happening in this country, but autism is not a disease that kills you. And God, RFK walking around talking about how mitochondria can be seen. I swear to God, I watch people listen to this stuff and I die inside because I knew that people were stupid. I really did. I knew that people were dumb. But the problem is that I had expectations that they were a little bit smarter and they could literally read the room when people were just filling them full of shit, right? So, like, food. Well, the FDA has just been gutted. They've lost like 20,000 employees. These are the people that monitor our food and make sure it's healthy. The people that make sure that we don't have major E. coli outbreaks on all of our romaine lettuce, which has happened countless times. Countless, right? 20,000 employees just gutted from the FDA. Our food. And then he talks about red dye number 40. And there was like, I'm surprised it wasn't a parade when Hershey's, who is not your standard meal, it's like a treat, gets rid of the red dye 40, right? But at the same time, they are gutting the FDA. They are getting rid of all regulations on pesticides, ones that aren't even allowed in other countries. So you're mad about red dye number 40, but that pesticide we're getting from China, where they won't use it because it causes chickens to have 9 heads, drop it on my lettuce, right? So we're no longer regulating pesticides, and you can't sue if you get sick. We're no longer regulating clean water, because why do we need clean water? We're no longer monitoring clean air. Climate change isn't real. You're stupid, and the earth is not flat, and you guys are fucking killing me. They got rid of the regulations on the amount of salmonella that you could have in a gigantic batch of chickens. Because I don't know if I talked about this before, but it used to be, because they aren't all ridiculous, that some amount of chicken was going to have salmonella in an entire, like, let's go in a truck, like one box could have salmonella or whatever. They got rid of those regulations. Our food is not safe, our air is not safe, and our water is not safe. But tell me again about red dye number 40. Tell me again. And this is the stuff when they're like, but the vaccines are causing autism. Listen, also, I don't know if you've noticed, but this is now eyeliner and I did mascara. I got all the little pokey pokies. Because again, and then there's this whole thing like, oh my God, we just want to protect women and children. So they still have not released the Epstein files because they're not going to, because Trump is a pedophile. And he moved Ghislaine Maxwell, who is a convicted child trafficker. They moved her to basically Club Fed. So that's cool because we took someone who is absolutely convicted of child trafficking and we moved her into a very nice prison where people go to just play. They play and they play and they play. And we've once again said it's fine that you did this, right? Because we voted in a guy who has raped and assaulted women and we showed that that was okay. And we're just teaching people that women and children don't matter. And I knew that. I knew that because the way that men talk to me, I know that we aren't real. I know that we are cattle. I know that it doesn't matter that women get raped to people. I know that. I know based on the way that men talk to me, it doesn't matter. I know that it matters to Russ. Russ loves me. I know that it matters to Max. He's my homie. I know that my dad, he can't get angry because he had a stroke, but I know that it would break my dad. I know there are men out there who love me and would beat someone up for harming me. But I also know that on the whole, I had a buddy tell me he plays softball with a dude who likes to hit women. He likes to hit women sober, and it's disgusting. And it is that man, not a part of his rap sheet is fabricated. Because I know people where women lie. Women lie. Women make shit up because people tend to, well, should believe them, but they lie because they know they will, and then they can ruin a man. Women lie. With this guy, it's not a lie. He likes to beat women. And people still talk to that man. And I think that's disgusting. Because people don't hold men accountable. They don't hold men accountable. And they're not holding them accountable for the Epstein because children don't matter and women don't matter. I have a friend and she was raped violently. She was raped and she was sodomized. Sodomized, right? And she did a rape kit and the cop lost it because of course he did. And then he moved to Montana and he was never held accountable. And they found the dude. So other people found the dude, and he, because he's just such a peach, he videotaped himself raping her. So they had video of it. And when they told her they found the video, they didn't charge it with video because they said it wasn't violent enough. And they asked her why she didn't struggle more and why she didn't say no more. They asked her why she didn't stop someone from raping her harder. Why didn't you fight harder? Why didn't you fight this harder? It wasn't violent enough. And it took me 10 years to figure out I was raped because I didn't think it was violent enough. And I wish people would stop using the narrative that it's for women and children because we don't matter. We don't matter when you rape us, and we don't matter when you murder us because they're not going to make any changes. Because they're not going to make any changes. And that's crazy to me. And so I have the dichotomy of what is in my life right now is nuts because I do have a great life. I have clients who trust me and I work 5 days a week. I'm not working Monday, Labor Day. I am sore and I can afford to have someone give me really awesome massages to work on that. And I play softball with friends 3 days a week and I've been sober almost 7 years. And these 3 dogs that I would murder for and a handful of people that I know if I needed them outside of my friend Kim, who was so pregnant, that poor girl, I can't wait for her to have her baby. Her feet look so painful. They would be here in a second if I needed them because they love me. I know all that. I have a beautiful life. And then I watch this shit happen and it blows my mind that people can't see what is happening. And it's not like there's anything you can do. He is president, it's done. But I said this in whatever the fuck episode way back in the beginning is I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm going to talk about it. And I hope at some point people who don't see it or think that it's not real or that the way that he is changing America isn't happening or that he's a good man. And I am done with well, I just want someone who's going to tell, he's a liar. He's a fraud. He's made billions of dollars off the backs of Americans. He talks about how he wants to stop government waste and woke agendas. They cut funding to save children in Africa. USAID cost the Americans fucking nothing. It was less than like 15% of the total taxes that they took. And they used that fucking money. Everybody, oh my God, we're helping people in other countries. We set up an opera for gay people. They use that fucking money to keep children from dying of AIDS and tuberculosis and to feed starving fucking children. And when we cut that money, people saluted and they cheered because look at us saving our fucking money. They're throwing our money away and we swallow their bullshit. And I am not saying, again, I'm going to do this because the Democrats aren't a fucking solution. There's a solution somewhere. There's a solution somewhere where someone comes in and just says, the working class matters. Because like what I see it now is, I was talking to my sister about this today. I've talked to Russ about it. I talked to maybe Max about it yesterday. I've talked to somebody. We never left high school. We never left high school. We just don't have to be with them all day, every day. But the dynamics, the social dynamics of high school live on in perpetuity, right? We still have the popular kids and the fucking nerds and all the in-betweeners. And the in-betweeners now, the popular are the rich and the wealthy, and the rich and the wealthy, redundant, and the famous. And then there's a normal people who, middle class, like upper echelon, middle to upper, poor as fuck. You can't look, you can't even see them. I left them all the way fucking over there. That's the poor as fuck, right? And in high school, it was fucking nerds, middle, popular. And the middle always thinks that they're gonna reach that, right? I'm this close. One day I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna be doing the thing that gets me over there into the popular. Because I don't wanna be the kid who sometimes gets hit by the milk carton on the way to the fucking nerds. I don't want them to not know me. I don't want them to think I'm the kid in the band or the kid in the fucking color guard because I don't want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. And I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to make it there one day. Fun fact. I was only ever all the way over there in 6th grade, man. I killed it at 11. I killed it. And then after that, I fucking left because I'm real smart. I didn't have titties. Right? Got them now. Which is why people hit on me. I never made it over there and I'm not going to be a fucking billionaire. And what we do in the middle, because all we want to do is be over there and never the fuck back over there with the dorks and the poor people, is we step on their fucking necks to make sure that we never end up where they are. Knowing how it feels to be us under them, we would rather subjugate and put down the people in the corner and say, you can't have stuff if I can't have it. So you don't get help. You don't get tutors if I can't have one. You don't get Medicaid if I can't have it. You don't get food stamps if I can't have it. If I make too much for help but not enough to be over there, you don't get it fucking either. If I can't be popular and fucking rich, then you can't come to me. Someone has to be below me. And we have lived in that fucking high school dynamic our entire lives, and we are putting it into society as adults. And we are disgusting. We need to figure out a way to fix that. We need to figure out a way in 2026 to have people younger than, but like Bernie Sanders, man, because he does care for the people. And you can semantics me all you want about how that man has got money. He has written books. He's a smart guy. And he talks all the time about getting super PACs out of this shit. I don't know if he's taken money. I'm not going to say he hasn't because I haven't done the fucking research. I bet he hasn't taken it from Israel because we're still funding Gaza Gaza's desecration, man. That shit is also awful, man. And you can point out the things that we're doing and they just don't change. And so again, the dichotomy is ridiculous because I love my life. And yet I see this shit. And then I just wonder how more people that I know that I love, yeah, empathy is a big deal. And I don't have kids. And I'm super glad I don't have kids. But I am very vocal about how awful it is to do the things that we are allowing to be done to children. And I know a lot of people with kids who just don't bat an eye because it's not theirs. And that's insanity to me. It's insanity because they can get up in arms about dog fighting for Michael Vick. Those are dogs. They're dogs. And I love dogs more than people all day, but they're still just dogs. And the way that people have come either for or against Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, here's my what in the recovery white trash moment here is I've watched people with vitriol towards this couple. They love each other and they're happy. And good for them. These are two pretty rich people who get to be pretty and rich together and they love each other and they are happy and they're cute and they are joyous. Go forth and have an amazing life. And all these people out there like, I just don't care about Travis Kelce. Mark's safe from caring about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift engagement. I forever get to see, oh my God, I'm so in love. It's my person, my everything. And then the next month, it's a new, oh my God, I'm so in love. It's my person, it's my everything. Wait for it. Because 2 months later, oh my God, I'm so in love. It's my person, it's everything. So I get to watch every Tom, Dick, and Joanna that slides up in your box or your dick and get to hear about all your relationships. I get to watch your fucking ugly kids all day. And I do mean that. You had a troll. You had a sloth. You had an ugly fucking kid. And you post that baby all over every outlet on social media. Like everybody needs to know about that. But Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce can't get a fucking nod or you go up in arms. Crazy the way people are. I mean, because good for them. Be pretty and be married and have a big fucking rock on your finger. That girl, man, people are nuts. She is a self-made billionaire. She's done everything herself from the age of 15. What have you done? What have you done? Because I didn't get self-made until I was 37. I did a whole bunch of other shit for other people and I got real fucking drunk. That girl has made her way by herself on her own fucking back. So you can dislike her music, you can talk a lot of shit, but she is a baddie. She's a baddie all day. So, all right, well, that went longer than I thought it was going to. Here I am 42 minutes later. So, sorry it's been a month. And if you're still around, I hope you enjoy this. Man, stay loud and stay fucking ignorant because, or indignant, not ignorant. Stay bratty. Stay honest about what's going on. And if you can come up with a way to change it, we got to get other people in there in 2026. Somebody's got to buck back because what's happening now is not okay. And we just need some checks and balances back. And I could tolerate the last 2 years of his cycle of president like I did last time he was president if he just has someone telling him no, but Congress won't tell him no because the Republicans are cucks and they're bitches. And we need some people in the House and the Senate that aren't beta cucks because that's how we fucking ended up with RFK telling us that all the vaccines were bad and people are going to die. People are gonna die. Not me. I don't have any under. Oh, also, stop telling me I can't get a fucking vaccine. You are mad. I think the population's mad because someone told them to get a vaccine. Well, now they're trying to make it so I can't get one. Just let me do what I want to my fucking body. That's all you ever ask. But while you're asking for your autonomy, you're trying to take mine the fuck away. No! Ugh, ridiculous. All right, well, I appreciate you guys. Happy Labor Day. I hope that everybody has a great weekend and stay feisty. Bye.